What's going on? And welcome to Talking Vegas All Day with KA. I'm your host, KA. And on today's episode, we're going to have a little bit of fun. And I'm going to talk about things to avoid in Las Vegas, specifically for those of you that are first time or brand new to Las Vegas. I get a lot of questions, and being in the travel industry, I'm always trying to give them tips. So I thought today I'd give you guys a little bit of advice too. So if you're a seasoned vet, you probably already know this stuff. But for those of you that have never been or maybe only been once, I'm going to give you guys some tips of things to avoid when you're in Las Vegas. But before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe, and punch that notification bell so you get up-to-date information when we drop new episodes. So let's go ahead and get started on Talking Vegas All Day with me, KA.
Let's go to Vegas, baby. Let's go tonight.
Right now.
Let's go to Vegas. We'll stay up all night. Let's go to Vegas. Let's get away.
So first on my list of things to avoid would be underpacking or not packing the proper attire. Las Vegas can be very hot during the summer and even during the spring and fall months, and it can be quite chilly in the winter. So knowing what to pack is critical for an enjoyable trip. So always check the weather and make sure you always have a good variety of clothes, because even during the summer, sometimes it can get a little chilly at night, so a nice windbreaker always helps. Along those lines, if you're going to a nice restaurant, a lot of top-end restaurants, nightclubs, and even certain lounges have a dress code. It could be anywhere from business casual to formal. So you don't want to be paying top dollar for a nice reservation you waited for, and then just show up in sneakers and a polo shirt being told, sorry, can't take you, you're not fitting dress code. And while some places around Las Vegas obviously know this, so they're kind of taking advantage of the situation, you always want to pack this stuff. You never want to be in a situation where, I got to get a new coat and tie in order to be able to just make a simple dinner reservation. So you're going to be paying top dollar for dress, and now you're going to be paying top dollar for a meal. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So always make sure to pack the proper formal wear. I always take a cocktail jacket, always pack a nice dress shirt, tie, and a nice pair of pants and shoes, just in case we get into a situation where, hey, we're going out for the evening, we got a good deal at a place, and we're going to go. But also know that if you're going to go out and hike, you're going to need to take hiking shoes. If you're going to lay by the pool, obviously you're going to want swimwear. If you're going to be spending some time outside during the day and it's hot, don't be wearing a lot of dark colored stuff. Just make sure you're using simple common sense. Sunscreen, sunglasses, things like that. Jackets, coats. Like I said, it can get cold in the winter. And with underpacking, you don't want to just have a backpack there. Make sure you always pack the proper travel essentials. And also get a nice shirt, sometimes booze. Just make sure you have enough to bring home with you so you're not getting another suitcase and you're not having to pay extra because you went over your weight amount on your flight home. Pack economically, but don't underpack. Another thing to avoid, and I see this a lot in chat groups and on Reddit and other travel boards. Hey, can I walk from the Strip to downtown? Or can I walk from Mandalay Bay to Circus? And the answer is, well, you can, but do you really want to? While it looks closer, you can see the Venetian from Mandalay Bay. It's a lot further than you think. And again, during the day, if you're going to be walking around, it gets really hot. There's trams at the Luxor. There's trams from Park MGM to the Bellagio. There's a tram at the Mirage. Take advantage of these trams to help get you out so you're not walking all over the place, especially if you're older or have certain physical conditions that, you just can't get around as well. So make sure you know where you're going. My advice, you got Uber and Lyft. Use them, or there are a lot of bus stops along the Strip. You can use them to get downtown. But make sure you're being smart about it. don't jaywalk, because you get caught. That's a big fine. People are trying to get places and people are blowing through stoplights because, sometimes people are impaired when they're driving on the strip. They have a little too much fun. Make sure that you're always following the traffic signs. Be smart. And if you're going to walk, me and Jay do this a lot. We will walk up and back the strip in the evening. Do it early evening. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool things you can see. A lot of street performers. We like to walk through the casinos and just see everything. Big advice for those of you who are just going out for the first time. If you want to do the north end of the strip one night, that'd probably be best. And then do the southern end of the strip another night. You're going to see what you need to see. And then next on my list is a big mistake is people, when they go to Las Vegas, they only say, I'm just going to stay on the strip and enjoy that. Gang, Las Vegas has a lot to offer. You have Zion, you have Hoover Dam, you have Red Rock Canyon, Henderson, Summerlin, Lake Las Vegas. You even got the Grand Canyon 3 hours away if you want to go to the West Rim. There's a lot of ways you can go and see things. Now, obviously, you're going to have to rent a car, and that can be a little bit pricey depending on where you book. But don't just stay on the strip or downtown. See the sights and the sounds. I can't say that enough, especially if you're like, I've never been to Las Vegas. Well, if you've never been to Las Vegas, you're not sure you're ever going to go back, go out and see it. Even if it's a 3-day trip, during the day, you can go out and explore. Now, if you're in the summer months, I'd recommend if you're going to go explore, do it early in the morning. Plan ahead, don't do an all-nighter and then expect to get up and feel great because you won't. It's a big city with a lot of cool stuff that's not just on the strip. I know a lot of times we talk about just the strip and stuff. It's a big place, so don't just be stuck to one area. Another big thing, and I get this a lot on my travel site on Facebook, about paying for things. And one of the biggest things always is paying full price for things you don't need to. And what I mean by that, drinks that you can be comped for. There's ways, if you're a rewards member, join the rewards club. If you know you're going to be back, join the rewards clubs because you get so many benefits. If you're playing slots, poker, blackjack, whatever, your drinks are going to get comped if you're playing enough. So keep that in mind. Don't just go spending $20 on a drink when you probably can get a drink and then buy one later down the road. And if you're only going to have 1 or 2 drinks, you don't need to be paying for that stuff. Avoid booking directly from the hotel. Think about Priceline, Hotels.com. Those are my 2 go-tos, and even Hotwire. And they still are good. But honestly, travel agent, I gotta tell you guys, right now, I got 3 nights for $76 at the D. I went on Priceline, I could get it for $120. I'm just saying that avoid booking directly with hotels. Paying full price for shows. You want to see shows that are coming back now in Las Vegas, as I'm sure you're aware. There's discount ticket places. You can book online and get discount. Don't just go right there to the hotel box office and pay for that. And use Groupon or other coupon deal apps when you're dining, stuff like that. You can save hundreds of dollars on a meal depending on what you're getting. So don't pay full price for things. Plan ahead. Think about things. And if you aren't going to use that stuff, go off strip. It's a lot cheaper. Another thing to avoid is with the resort fees. And this is another travel tip I always give clients is not understanding that. Now, you remember, guys, I did an episode a while back. It's in the archives on the resort fees. And I said there is a site. You just Google current hotel resort fees, Las Vegas, and you get a site that has all the hotels. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you find a great deal at the Cosmopolitan midweek, under $100, which is unheard of, and you go and click and book it. Now, you might get there and you say, look at your bill and say, oh man, 3 nights for $180. That's a steal. Man, it might be a steal. But you might get to the hotel and it's a $100 resort fee. So guess what? That $180 is now almost $500 for 3 nights. Think about where you're staying and do the research on that before you book. All right. That's a big thing because while that might be $400, you might pay $200, but only have a $30 a night resort fee at another place. So now you're paying half that. So compare prices. That's a big thing for me. Don't just say, oh, hey, we're spending 3 nights. Now I know I'm going to backtrack here. I know I just said about those 3 nights for $76. Guess what, gang? That also is including the resort fee. That's why that's such a good deal. Moving on. Taxis long hauling you. Now, this is a big one. And with Uber and Lyft, that's going to be a moot point. Or get the bus. Don't do taxis. All right. I don't have anything against taxis. Sometimes in a pinch, you need them. But if you're going to do it, know where you're going, know the route you're traveling. Because sometimes what happens, and we had this happen to us one time, we were staying in New York. We were getting a real early flight. I think it was like a 5:30 flight back home. And so we're leaving around 3:45, and we got a taxi. The guy was really nice. We were chatting. And I said, hey, let's go this way. Nope. He got on and went the tunnel route. And, right there was a simple, we were thinking 10, 15 bucks. Right there was a $25 trip. Know where you're going. And if you do happen to get long hauled, know what company he was with and report him, because that's not right. They shouldn't be doing that. Next thing I want to talk about is avoid street sellers and timeshare people. All right. Now you're walking the strip. There's a lot of performers, people saying, hey, I want to get a picture with you. Get a picture with the showgoers. Guess what? You should tip them. You don't have to, but that's not good practice. They run on commission. And some of those people do actually, when you take a picture, they'll say, hey, that's $20. And that kind of puts you in a tough situation there. Now, you don't necessarily need to pay them, but know that up front that some of these people that are offering free pictures, they're not free. Second, people that come up to you and say, hey, you want to go party tonight? VIP, free bottle service. Well, guess what? Bottle service is free. All right. They make it sound like, oh, you're going to get free drinks and all this. They're paid to bring people into clubs. Now, you might get a deal, but guess what? Nothing's free once you get in. All right. Keep this rule of thumb. Nothing in Las Vegas is for free, guys. Now, there are some good deals to be had. I will say that. There are some really good VIP lines and stuff like that. But you got to know, the guy off the street can be sometimes sketchy and can be dangerous sometimes. Especially if you're with a group of females and you're all female. It can be very sketchy, so be safe. I want to talk about the timeshare people for a minute. The timeshare people are good people, first and foremost. And the timeshares in Las Vegas are a great deal. However, if you're walking along the strip and somebody comes up and says, hey, where are you from? Best rule of thumb I do, guys, is I tell them, hey, I'm a local. And if they ask you where you're from, pick a town, pick an area. Do a little research. I have my 3 places that I'm from, and they'll back off. If they don't, just keep walking. It's a great deal. We've actually considered it once or twice, but then when you see that it's going to be like a 2.5, 3 hour timeshare meeting, yeah, I'm not giving that up when I got things I want to do on my vacation. Nothing against them. Another big thing I hear is not taking in the free shows. I talked about that in the best free things to do. You can go back and look at that. A lot of people are like, man, Vegas costs a lot. Well, that's because you're not taking in the free stuff, the free tours, the trips, the shows. There's a lot of free stuff. Again, do your research. And the last thing on my list is this, and I have been guilty of it. Understand, you're not going to get a lot of sleep. Don't try to do everything in one trip. All right. If you want to go to the Grand Canyon, that's a full day. To do it all, it's pretty much a full day. Even if you leave early, you're not going to get back. You're going to go to Death Valley. That's a full day. You're going to go to Zion. That's a full day. You're going to go to Red Rock. That's a half a day. And if you're really going to take it in and do a couple trails, that's a full day. Pick and choose really what you want to do. I have a running list of things that I want to do. And at the beginning of the trip, we'll check off a couple, and things we don't, we'll save for the next trip. I will say this, though. Neon Museum, love it. Want to go. I've been to Vegas a million times. Guess what? I've never been to Neon Museum. I've been there, and it's been closed, trying to get to it once or twice. But this will be the first trip we're going to Neon Museum. So don't try to do everything. Just enjoy it. The last thing you want to do is get home and feel exhausted from a Vegas trip because you did too much and you didn't know what you did. Enjoy what you do, but plan out and just take your time and don't try to do too much. Now, I'll probably come back to this down the road and bring in a couple things, and going out here at the end of the month, I definitely want to check out a few things. So probably revisit this with a couple more lists. I guess the question I have for you guys today, is there anything that I didn't talk about that you would recommend as well? Some of you veteran guys that might be listening say, man, Kay, you missed this. Man, you missed this. Man, you missed this. Let me know. There might be some things that I didn't even think of. Make sure you hit the like button. Click subscribe on your way out the door. Remember, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Those links are below. If you're listening on the podcast, I appreciate it. Give us a 5-star rating. And we'll see you next time on Talking Vegas All Day with me, K.A.